Well, what's up again there, guys? Brian here, the Three Topics Gamer, here to give you a pretty awesome predictions video to share with you guys today. Now, if you guys haven't checked it out already, yesterday I uploaded a video pretty much going over the worst to best games that I reviewed this year in terms of just giving you just my personal opinion of which game I believed was my personal game of the year. So if you haven't checked out that video, I'll be sure to leave a link in the description down below. You can just check it out whenever you have time. But for this particular video, I decided to actually look at all of the nominees for the Game Awards, which is going to be happening this Thursday, December 12th. I will definitely be streaming, or I'm actually going to be going to a friend's house, and I'll be joining his stream, and we'll be watching it together, and I'll be sure to talk more about that in the next couple of days. But for this particular video, I've decided I'm actually going to look at the nominees and just pretty much give my predictions of who I believe will win and who I believe deserves to win. So without wasting any more time, let's jump right into the nominees. And just, before we begin, I won't be going over all the nominees because there's a lot of eSports stuff and I don't really know all that much about it, but I'm just going to stick to the categories that I am aware of. So starting at the bottom of the list, because we were going to be saving the main attraction for last, we have VR and AR games. Now, I personally am not a big fan of VR gaming, but just looking at these nominees, honestly, outside of Beat Saber and No Man's Sky, and that's about it. I've never played any of these, but just from what I've seen, I think that if I had to give my vote, I think that Beat Saber is what I would pick, and I think that Beat Saber is going to win. So that will be my choice for best VR AR game. Moving up, we have strategy game. We have basically a bunch of games that I have yet to play. I've heard of Fire Emblem, but I didn't play it, and I am aware of Total War, but again, that's another game that I didn't play. So I'm afraid I'm gonna have to skip this category. I don't even know which one I would pick. I mean, pretty impressive pictures, but I don't know what to say. Next, we have sports and racing game. We have Crash, Dirt Rally, eFootball Pro, F1 29, or I think it's Formula 1, and FIFA. Anything else? No. Okay. Again, another category. I have never played any of these games. But just to have a little bit of fun, if I had to vote on one, I guess I would go with Crash. But I think FIFA 20 is gonna win. So that's my guess on that. Moving up. Okay, the first main category that I am familiar with, and this is score and music. This is hard. So we have a Zelda game, Death Stranding, Devil May Cry 5, Kingdom Hearts 3, and a game that I have never heard of. Okay, Kingdom Hearts was good, but music didn't really stand out too well for me. Death Stranding has an impressive soundtrack that really fits the mood. However, they did use the score is mainly made up of a bunch of songs that most people, I don't see too many people going out of their way to find. I mean, I did personally, but I don't think most people will. But I will say the soundtrack to Devil May Cry 5 was awesome. I liked how every single individual playable character had their own theme. I thought the boss fight themes were great. So I am going to say that I personally would vote for Devil May Cry 5, and I do think Devil May Cry 5 is going to win score and music. Next, we have role-playing game. Okay, this is good. We have Disco Elysium, Final Fantasy XIV, I can't believe that's still going, Kingdom Hearts 3, Monster Hunter World, Iceborne, and The Outer Worlds. I've actually never played The Outer Worlds, but if I had to vote just from these categories, my personal vote, I would vote for Kingdom Hearts 3, but I think that Monster Hunter World Iceborne is going to win. I think that's going to be a tough category, but that's who I think will come out on top. Performance. This one is really, really difficult to decide. Very difficult. I'm not sure who I know who you are, but I've seen you. I've heard you in something else. I'm just trying to connect what other game I've heard you from. But I've heard a lot of people think that she might win, but be honest, I didn't play Outer Worlds. Courtney Hope from Control. She did an amazing job in Control. I'm shocked. I'm shocked that Control got as many nominations as it did this year. Gears. I didn't play that one, so sorry, can't vote for you. But Mads Mikkelsen. Yeah, very, very impressive. very impressive performance at Death Stranding, and I'm really surprised he's here. I really am, because he wasn't even in Control all that much, so that is a shocker. I think there's a bunch of other characters that could have taken his spot or deserve a nomination. And then Norman Reedus. Okay, this is tough. I think it is going to be Death Stranding. I definitely think it's either going to be Mads or Norman. And personally, if I had to pick between the two, my vote is Matt. I would vote for Matt Mikkelsen for a performance. That is who I personally would vote. But I think it will be either one of these two. I think either Norman Reedus or Matt is going to win. So either way, I think Death Stranding is going to walk away with this performance. But just in case, if neither of them does not win, then I would definitely go for Courtney Hope. She definitely did an amazing job in Control, and I really hope we do get a sequel to that game, because I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. Next, we have ongoing game. We have Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy XIV, Fortnite, and Tom Clancy. Okay, what's going on? Okay, nothing. Alright, ongoing game. Okay, I don't think Tom Clancy's going to take it. Destiny's a bit surprising. Okay, if I had to vote, I would go for Apex, but I think Fortnite is going to win. Fortnite is just too popular. I can't see that, like, not walking away with something. So, I personally think Apex, but I think Fortnite is going to take ongoing game. Next, we have narrative. This one's tough, because I've only played 2 of these. So, these 3 are out. So, it basically comes down to Control and Death Stranding. Tough. I really liked Control story, but it is a little bit confusing. But you can say the same thing about Death Stranding, and dear God, I've gotten a lot brighter because the sun's come out. Death Stranding, but I think that by the end, I think the story does work out a bit better for Death Stranding. So I'm going to vote personally for Death Stranding. And I think that Death Stranding is going to win Best Narrative. So there's that category. Multiplayer game. Alright, now we're getting interesting. Apex, Borderlands 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Tetris 99, and Tom Clancy's The Division. I really like The Division, even though I didn't review it. Tetris is a classic. I think Modern Warfare is pretty consistent, as it's been over the last number of years. And then Borderlands and Apex. I did not like Borderlands at all very much. But I think it's probably going to take this category. So I personally would vote for Apex, because I have been playing it a lot this year, and I have had a lot of fun with it, especially for all the special modes they've been adding. But I think Borderlands 3 is going to take it. And if that doesn't take it, then I think Call of Duty will. But that's just my choice. Next, we have mobile game. Another category. I know nothing about any of these games, so we will move on. Let's see what's next. Independent game. Again, another category. I do not know any of these games. So, I mean, I'm not sure there's anything extra. No, nothing. Alright, so let's move on. Games for impact. For a thought-provoking game with pro-social meaning or message. Nope. I can't say any of these games. However, if I just have to pick a name out of the hat, I think maybe Life is Strange 2 is probably going to end up winning, just from what I've heard. I mean, I haven't played that one or the previous one, but just from what I've heard from other people who've spoken to me about it, they say it's pretty impactful. So I guess Life is Stranding, I think, is going to take it. Next, we have game direction. Ooh, interesting. Okay, anything else? No. Okay, so alright, I'm gonna take these 2 out. So now we got Control, Death Stranding, and Resident Evil. I'm not gonna pick Resident Evil simply because that is a remake of an older game, so I don't think that should count. So it's gonna come down to Death Stranding and Control. Game direction. Awards for outstanding creativity, vision, innovation in game direction and design. That is hard. Okay, the difference between Control and Death Stranding is, I think, honestly, this is going to shock some people. I can say I kind of had an idea of what I was going to get with Death Stranding, but it was overall still a great game. But I was really surprised with Control. So for game direction and a shocking choice, I'm actually going to go with Control. I think Control will take game direction, but honestly, I think that Death Stranding is going to take it. But heck, if Control does happen to win this category, I will be pretty happy. I mean, with as many nominations as Control gets, there's no way it walks away empty-handed. I see it at winning at least 2 awards that night. Next, we have Fresh Indie Game. Nope. Haven't heard of any of you. Sorry. Next category. Okay. Fighting game. Okay. This is my zone. Alright. We have Dead or Alive, Jump Force, Mortal Kombat 11, Samurai Shodown, and Super Smash. Okay, well, I've only played one of you, so I personally would vote for Mortal Kombat 11. But I do think that Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is going to end up taking it, even though I technically have not played a Smash game in like 20 years, but I doubt it's really changed in any great sense. I mean, maybe adding a few extra characters and maybe some different maps, but just from what I've seen of it, it doesn't seem to have changed much in 20 years. Next, we have Family Game. Well, of course Nintendo was going to dominate this one. I have not played any of you, but if I had to vote, it's going to be a Mario game, or at least a game that has Mario in it. I think that either Mario Maker or Smash is going to win, but if I had to vote, I got to go for my boy Luigi. I'm a much bigger Luigi fan than Mario, so I would vote for Luigi's Mansion, even though I've never played it. But I think either Super Mario Maker 2 or Smash is going to end up taking that category. Next, we have the eSports. Don't know who any of these esports teams are. Don't know who any of these players are. I don't know who any of these hosts are. But next we have esports game of the year. Don't know. Haven't played any of you. Esports event. I've never watched an esports event in my life. This one is confusing. Esports coach. How does that work? How does coaching work in esports? You're just sitting down playing video games. I wasn't aware that required a coach. I mean, in a real sport, coaching is important, but that is really bizarre. I mean, I'm shocked that esports is still going, but coaching? I mean, how does that work? I mean, I'd love to watch a documentary explaining how esports actually works. Next, we have Content Creator of the Year. I have never heard of any of you, so next. I don't get out much. But next category, Community Support. Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Tom Clancy. Okay, I already gave Fortnite an award, so I don't think Fortnite's gonna... Honestly, I'll be honest. I am going to vote for Destiny 2, but I think Apex is going to end up taking it. So that is my choice for community support. Next, we have audio design. Ooh. Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Control, Death Stranding, Gears 5, Resident Evil 2, and that game, even though I cannot pronounce your name. Ooh. Recognize the best in-game audio and sound design. You know what? This is gonna surprise some people, but I actually do think that Call of Duty is gonna take it. I gotta say, that game in terms of its sound quality was very, very immersive. I was very, very impressed, especially if you're playing it, if you're playing it using my Platinum PlayStation 4 headphones, was the surround sound. Very impressive. So I actually am going to vote for Call of Duty, and I think Call of Duty will take audio design. Next, we have art direction. Interesting. Control, Death Stranding, Grips, which I've heard some things about. Don't know what that game is. That Legend of Zelda it just looks weird. That has a weird look for Link. Alright, Okay, just from that picture, that looks very, very interesting, even though I know nothing about that game. Art direction. I'm going to come down to these two, but I'm like, visually, I'm going to give my vote to Control. I was very, like, the entire infrastructure and architecture of the building itself, especially that one major level, was probably the most impressive use of a level design level I've ever seen. And you guys, some of you who see my review, know what I'm talking about. So personally, I'm going to give my vote to Control, but I think Death Stranding might end up winning. But if that one doesn't win, then I think maybe either that one or somehow, dear God, if Legend of Zelda manages to win, which I would really be shocked about. Next, we have action adventure game. We have Borderlands 3, Control, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2, The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, and that game. Ooh. That is going to be a hard one. It would suck if Resident Evil walked away with nothing, but it would also sting if that walked away with nothing. Death Stranding, I think, is gonna. I don't see it pulling a Red Dead where it's gonna win almost every category it was part of. I don't see that happening. Borderlands, no, I cannot say Borderlands. Borderlands was very hard to get through. Control, it was a little bit too confined. So I'm kind of leaning towards one of those two. But I did hate the entire first third in the police department. I hated that section. So I'm gonna have to say that it's not. The problem is that Death Stranding didn't have much action to it. I mean, the boss fights were pretty easy. They weren't really challenging. I'd say I had a lot more fun playing Control than I did Death Stranding. But, you know, I would say that's weird. It's like in the action department I would go with Control, but in the adventure department I would go with Death Stranding. So I guess I gotta go with Death Stranding. I mean, just being nice. Like, I think it might win the most awards that night, but yeah, I probably would give it. I would give it my vote for action adventure, and I think that will end up winning that category. Next, we have action game. We have Apex Legend, that game, Call of Duty, Devil May Cry 5, Gears 5, and Metro Exodus. Okay, this one is easy to decide. All of these games are great that I've played, but my vote is Devil May Cry 5 because it certainly should have gotten way more nominations, and I think Devil May Cry 5 is indeed going to win. And if it doesn't win, I swear I'm going to go on a serious rant during the live stream. Alright, I think we're getting close to the top, and I think we are at the top. We are now at Game of the Year. Alright, we got 6 categories. We have 6 choices. Alright, I'm going to say it right now. There is no way in hell any of those 3 games are going to win. No way in hell. I don't even know why Smash is there. So it's going to come down to Resident Evil 2, Death Stranding, or Control. This is tough. Because I personally wish Devil May Cry 5 was here. It should be here. I'm pissed that it's not. I really liked Control. The problem is that game kind of disappeared and no one was really talking about it, which is why a lot of people were confused that Control has been mentioned so much. And there's some controversies and some conspiracy theory going around. I loved Control. I really did, but I did not think it was a contender, but I don't think it should win. Death Stranding, man, they are pushing that so hard. I mean, I don't want this to turn into a total praise of Kojima and a total like F-bomb to Konami, because trust me, what happened 3 years ago at the Game Awards where Kojima just could not be there due to legal reasons, I think is the biggest like BS moment I've ever seen in gaming. But we shouldn't turn this show into just a total praise of Kojima. He's done an incredible job with Death Stranding, but let's not turn this into his night, because a lot of great games came out this year, and there was a number of games that I certainly did enjoy playing more than Death Stranding. And then there was Resident Evil 2, which again, I love the second and third sections, but this is a remake of an older game that I hated. I really hated Resident Evil 2, the original version. I really hated it, and I still hate that game now. But what it was able to do in terms of enjoyment was impressive. So this, okay, yeah, this is by far the hardest one. This is gonna be hard, but I cannot give it to Control. And I stated in my review, I do not believe that Death Stranding deserves to win. But despite how much I hated the first third of Resident Evil 2 Remake, I would give my vote out of this list to Resident Evil 2. I would vote for Resident Evil 2 for Game of the Year. But realistically, I think somehow, some way, Death Stranding is going to take it. I think Death Stranding is going to end up winning, but I would give my vote to Resident Evil 2 just because I don't think these two just quite up there. Maybe worth a nomination, but I don't think they deserve to win. But I swear, I will be shocked if one of those three wins. I will generally be shocked. Alright, so that pretty much concludes my nominations. Now that you guys know who I believe would win, I'm really curious. Please share your thoughts and feel free. Make your list as long as possible in the comments down below and tell me who do you think is going to win each of the categories that I mentioned. If you guys want to go into the esports thing or talk a little bit more about that in the comment section, go right ahead. But even though I won't know much about that. And also keep track of my channel over the next few days because I am going to send a link to the live stream that I'll be doing with my friend Mr. Spiteful Spartan, and so I'll be sure to leave a link to his channel as well, and I'll be sure to leave a link in the community section of my channel just so you guys can hopefully watch these awards with me, and heck, maybe I'll tally them up and see how I do when the awards night finally comes here on Thursday. So that is my predictions for the Game Awards nominations. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and be sure to share this on all your social media outlets. And like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I'll see you next time.